Hi, I'm Carcino.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
No one knows Carcino and none of these.
There's so much going on in the world, and I'm just giving my 2 cents on it. Go in and do a raid at someone's house, but you don't have an arrest warrant for them. Yo, what's up? What's up? This is the album review for The Fall Off. Hold on one sec. Okay. So anyway, The Fall Off. All right. Now, this interpretation of The Fall Off is built up off the first album release, full album release after the whole Drake Kendrick mess that happened 2 years ago prior. And there's some nice tracks on here. You know, it's a lot of songs to really fall back on that you gotta really go back and listen to a couple times. And some of y'all don't give it justice. Like y'all headphone listeners, you gotta like really play this in a car and ride to it, and then you'll get a better understanding for it. Now, when people who were looking at us as far as a collective was looking at like all the songs that we were going through with like with Cole and the Fall Off, and people like the 2-6 song, and that's right much up their alley, but they like Poor Thing, Safety, the Booms Road Blues. But my thing is, I'm looking at this as a collective, you know. A lot of people looking at this as a collection of songs. Me, the 39 intro was incredible. And, Who the Fuck Is You is, once I heard you know, uh, Drop a Gem on them by Mob Deep, I was done. That was it. That was my favorite song instantly. I said, "Oh, drop a gem on him." And he really has this problem with Champagne Sloppy. And a lot of people like Safety, and the third verse of Safety is crazy. And it's talking about locals who died of AIDS after running into fruity type dudes, who go in both ways, you know what I'm saying? And the liquor. And they was like, "This could be homophobia." And I'm like, "No, this like he says. Some of us called him a agate. Nah, times have changed. I know that's wrong." What he says, he portrays himself as a superstar afflicted with survivor guilt and stays on, baby. Point. Oh yeah, that's like one of my favorites out of the tracks too. Safety is a good one. Oh, drum and bass. That's some North Carolina shit there. But there's a lot of songs on here, man, and a lot of it got Mob Deep energy. I've heard some DMX. He used DMX like hook, and it's kind of nostalgic. It gives you that old time feel, but then he puts his own words to it, and he starts explaining situations and saying like where he was at and how people was trying to come down on him and how the vibe was and the energy was just off. And it's not the energy that he normally writes with, you know. The violence, I like that with that Erica Badu and J. Cole. That's nice. And of course, I Love Her Again. It's like that's my boy's song right there. It's like, yeah, I love her again. I'm back. Whenever you use creativity, my boy gonna fall off with that one. What if Power Trip? Listening with it and playing it a couple of times, you kind of get into this thing of there's too many songs, and some of them are put out there and they're different. Like all of them are different. Like remember when he made Middle Child back in 2019, and he was like showing his skill with the keyboard and all that. So that had like all these different tracks that it reminded you of something else. And like when you heard Middle Child, it threw you back. Like, man, that's like a beat back in time. That's how Life Sentence was when you listen to that. When Life Sentence track came out. So the theories that people run with are pretty much a prison of you're a prison of circumstance, in other words. Like, for instance, breaking down this album, J. Cole is what you would call a rapper's rapper. He's a rapper's rapper. He's an MC. And in an MC's rapper's brain, it's gonna be quite difficult to attract to everybody. You see at J. Cole, he's not your popular artist. They tried to do that on his first album and make him the new hot thing because he can rap. He's not Kanye. He's not going to be able to be like Common when Common started to take off. He's not going to go down that road. He's the art. It's got to mean something to him, or he's not going to do it, or he'll just walk away. He's that kind of artist, and being that kind of artist comes with it's a double-edged sword. And what do I mean by double-edged sword? That means sometimes people won't get a chance to appreciate the music because of the type of music they've been listening to. So if you're listening to like his album, like you're listening to a guy that doesn't listen to a lot of hip hop in his house. You're listening to a guy who grew up listening to other musics that wasn't hip hop that transcends time, that his grandparents used to listen to and dance to, and his mom them used to listen to. All of those beats and rhythms, the Al Green album, they transcend time. So when he was going back to like Mob Deep album, this generation don't know about Drop a Gem on them really. When he brings back these old tracks that were meaningful, you know, for us, we're stuck in time. We don't realize how many years have went by. That came out in 1996. And when that track came out in 96, here it is. We're right now, what's that, about 30 years ago now. Yeah, we're approximately 30 years ago. J. Cole was 9, I think, when that happened. I think J. Cole was literally 9 years old when that hit. So he would understand what this culture is about. because he was a young kid when Pac and Big died. He was probably like 9 or 10. So what he's witnessing and what is presented in front of him is different than what you guys are gonna see. He's talking from a man that knows what it's like becoming from North Carolina and being caught in that egregious point. And if you listen to, because a lot of people say, oh, it's disc one, disc two. I don't have the physical copy. So I'm going off of just a whole plethora of like 224 songs. And for me, I just know looking at how this generation views music and how they view J. Cole's music, listening to J. Cole for that long of a period of time will bore them to death. He's not the kind of artist that makes those type of songs that you can listen to if you're not into J. Cole that long. He's a 12 song, 10 song, 11 song guy. When you do 24 songs of J. Cole, not a good idea. Should not have done a double CD. But because some people mindset will just be like, man, this is whack. They're not even listening to it. They'll just be like, why did he choose this beat? Because your brain is programmed to listening to certain type of music. That when new music is introduced or something that's not new, just alien to your system, you don't get it. It's similar to when Jay-Z made Reasonable Doubt in 1996, since we about 96. When he made Reasonable Doubt, Biggie was out doing his thing, Tupac was doing his thing, Nas was doing his thing. So all three of them, it was Pac, Nas, and Big. They were doing their thing and they were onto this Italian mafioso thing, but their sound was different. So when Jay-Z came into the picture, he wasn't sounding like the rest of them musically. He was going back to the old 80s, 70s type of songs that people wasn't really into. It was more like, some old school Shaft, uh, black exploitation type films, type of music, and you know, when you do that, you're looking into what they created, what they called the Rockefeller sound. It was more soulful, more, you know, bring back that black experience from the 70s. And when people heard it, immediately they, "Ugh, this whack," because they were used to all this other stuff from the 80s, because Puff was doing the 80s samples. They went back to like the 70s and using some 80s, but mostly 70s. And they called it basically the Rockefeller sound. And that's how Reasonable Doubt come along to sound the way it was sounding and had that prestige. So I give it a 3-star performance out of 4 for the fall off. A lot of people probably won't agree. They probably say this is one of his worst projects. Say he did fall off. He damn sure ain't fall off lyrically or creatively. Talking about the absence and the public perceptions and everything on this album is, as a collective, when you can sit with your thoughts. Many of you can't because you got a car full of kids, you got a wife, and she's doing this, and you're just going from point A to B, and you only get a chance to really listen to your music like Like my boy, he'd be like taking a dump and got his earplugs on, just be sitting in there listening to music because it's the only time he can really get some space. So yeah, from that standpoint, we're gonna get up out of here because we ain't want to take up too much of your time. I just wanted to give you a breakdown of the album and what it consists of. There's a lot of songs here that I like, a lot. Some I don't listen to as much, but I hear it because I want to hear what he's talking about. And this is basically therapy for him more than anything. And him being the old school approach, going out there selling tapes out the trunk of his car. I mean, he's independent, so he can do what he want to do. But this is why you won't see the mass marketing of J. Cole. They can't eat off of him. So he's got a distribution deal that he got with oh, absolutely, his distribution deal with Universal. Yeah, I'm starting to get a cold. The weather's starting to change. It's starting to get warmer. My allergies are messing up. So let me take care of that and I'll get back to you. One.